People don't understand how much exposure plays a role. You might have something your entire life and you see as normal, but to someone else, it's something completely new. For me, the first time I tasted wine was on my first year of making wine. My name is Banele Vakele. I was a protege from 2015 until 2018. Spent 3 wonderful years with the CWG Protégé program. I'm currently the assistant winemaker at Savage Wines, and I'm also the winemaker of Tembala Wines, which is my own brand. Currently now on its 3rd vintage. I was born in the Eastern Cape in a very small town called Ngamakwe. It's been a good upbringing, but a very difficult one also. My parents decided to leave mainly for them to get employment so that they can feed us. So we moved to Khayelitsha, and that's where we've always stayed. I went to a school called Kumisa. The principal helped me to apply to Cape Academy of Maths and Science and Technology in an upper-class neighborhood in Constantia. And it was an escape from a lot of things in the township and a lot of things at home. The taxi that you used to take, it used to go through the wine estates, past Eagle's Nest, Goed Constantia. So you used to see these estates, but you never, went inside. And only in 2010, during my final year, my curiosity got the better of me. That's how I decided to apply at Elsme College, and I managed to get in there. My mother was very skeptical in me starting winemaking because in her mind, it was me getting drunk all the time. I sat down with her and I told her, I'm really passionate about this and I really want to try it out. And it's not about alcohol. It was not me tasting a bottle of wine and whoa, this is the most special thing. It was more the science behind the wine. The Cape Winemakers Guild came through to Elsenburg, did a tasting, so that kind of changed my mind on how I saw the industry, and I applied, and then I started my first job with the Protégé program with NELs. There were 5 of us that year that ended up being CWG Protégés. With the Protégé program on your 2nd year, you also get to make your own wine. And luckily for me at that time, Protégé was a member of the guild. I was the winemaker at Goed Constantia, so I had to go. The first Tembala wines was made at Goed Constantia because that's where everything for me began. First time my mother ever tasted wine, it was my Protégé wine. It was like, I don't drink wine, but the doctor said it's good for me. So I will have a sip since you made the wine. Closer to the end of the year, I heard Duncan Savage was opening up his own place in Salt River. No one was doing that at that time. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. At that time, he had hired Kiara Scott to be his assistant. I knew her back from Elsenburg, and obviously now she was my senior and my boss. But I also looked up to her because she has that touch. There's no room for mistakes when you're making fine wine, especially in small quantities like we do here. Every drop counts for us. On your 2nd year, also on the Protégé program, you get the chance to go overseas and work. So we all go to Burgundy in France and basically make wine in Burgundy. I went to a family that was very loving, and I was so in love with how they made wine there, organic and biodynamic. The experience, I will never exchange it for anything. It was me and Tato traveling, 2 black guys traveling in France, can't speak a word of French. And we said, let's go to Paris. The person that was looking after us advised us not to go to Paris because there was terror attacks. And we looked at her and we said, there's no way terrorists are looking for 2 black Africans walking around Paris. I'm already laughing. I think you need humor in life to try and break barriers. When me, Kiara, and Duncan were here, there were a lot of social barriers. We all came from different backgrounds, but we all loved Gatsby. So we started a tradition of Gatsby Fridays. I know it has nothing to do with wine, but sometimes you don't bond over a bottle of wine, but you bond over other things in life. I think for me, the program instilled belief to try and reach for higher and higher things in life. But also Duncan knew what I wanted. He was the one who said, look, I want to give you this opportunity to make your own wine, because even when I was a Protégé, I always expressed my desire to have my own brand. I make only 2 wines, which is a Syrah and a white wine. So we started off with the Vakele. I was inspired by a picture where there were 2 ladies wearing isiXhosa traditional attire. One of the ladies had a wine barrel on top of her. It captured me as a person, it captured my tradition, it captured my passion, and that's how I went with it. The first vintage of Tembala wines is 2020. I remember going to the vineyards, and we were supposed to go and look at the vineyard that I was going to pick for my wine brand. And I got a call that, there's something wrong at home. And I immediately knew that my mother had passed away. I was in the vineyards, and I went back straight home. Me and her shared a very special bond. And also, she was very proud of me. It's just life, that's how it is. I choose to celebrate the life she had and the impact or the role that she played in my life. People that know me from back then, I always told them that I'm gonna make a wine out of my mother, even before she passed away. My mother's name is Tembala, so it's Tembala Wines. Tembala is an isiXhosa word. It means to have faith, belief, and hope.